Hey everyone, Hyo here. Today I'm reviewing the Wacom MovinkPad Pro 14, which is a tablet that runs on Android 15 and comes with a 14-inch OLED display and the Wacom Pro Pen 3. So today I'm out sketching with my friends again, so some parts of this review will be made outdoors and some parts will be made indoors. Oh, first of all, disclaimer, this is actually a review unit on loan from Wacom Singapore, so in this video I'll just present to you my findings so that you can decide whether this is worth the money. The price of this tablet at the time of review on Amazon US is $899 US. And if you look here under the purchase options, you can see several moving products. So this is the MovinkPad 11 Android tablet that I reviewed a few months ago. It's now selling at $400 US. So this is less than half the price of the MovinkPad Pro 14. And this is the Movink 13 pen display selling at $600. The MovinkPad 11 that I reviewed a few months ago is a good tablet, but this MovinkPad Pro 14 is a better tablet in many ways. And here in Singapore, the Wacom MovinkPad Pro 14 is selling at 1,299 Singapore dollars. As usual, let me give you the bottom line up front. The Wacom MovinkPad Pro 14 is one of the best portable tablets for digital artists in 2025. Now this tablet may not have as many software or hardware features compared to the iPad Pro or the Samsung tablets, but the pen performance and the drawing experience is definitely right up there at the top. The Wacom Pro Pen 3 is sensitive and accurate, tilt works well, and palm rejection works great. The matte glass surface has effective anti-glare, but this surface may be a bit too smooth. This is the type of smooth surface you typically get with pen displays with matte glass and pen tablets nowadays. So this surface is noticeably smoother compared to matte textured screen protectors. Wacom has included 3 different types of pen tips at the back of the pen. One of these pen tips will give you more texture when drawing. If you don't like how the default pen tip feels, you can replace it with one that has more texture. So this has more texture now. And this is the default pen tip. This 14-inch OLED display is big, bright, vibrant, and sharp. The color quality is excellent. Maximum brightness is up to 900 nits, which is quite important to me because I like to sketch outdoors on location, and usually when I'm outdoors it's quite bright, so I need the display to be bright, otherwise I won't be able to work outdoors. And this sketch was actually sketched on location. I was on the 7th floor of the National Library here in Singapore. I was standing and sketching, and I was holding the tablet like this. And I have to hold the tablet like this because I have to balance the tablet. The tablet is just too big for me to hold it like this, where all the weight will go to the other side. So this is more comfortable, and this tablet weighs 699 grams, which is considered lightweight for a tablet of this size. So I was able to hold the tablet like this and sketch for 1.5 hours, if I remember correctly. Drawing on such a big display has several advantages. For example, with this sketch, I was drawing at this size. When I need to draw the details, I don't have to zoom in to draw the details. On smaller tablets, the sketch will be smaller, so usually I will zoom in to draw the details, but with this tablet, even with the zoomed out sketch like this, everything still looks big. So when drawing, I can also check my perspective and the composition more easily. For example, with this scene, the vanishing point is around here. So if I zoom in to sketch, I may not be able to get the angles at the correct angle because I cannot see the vanishing point. But when I'm drawing like this, I can just draw the diagonal lines to the vanishing point and the angles will look more accurate. Another advantage with a big display is you can use drawing apps with many UI elements. For example, with Clip Studio Paint, even with palettes on the left and right, you will still get a good amount of space left over for drawing. And this is how big the tablet is when compared to this A4 size paper pad. The A4 paper is up to the perforated edge here, so this display is more narrow but slightly taller. And when I pulled this tablet out from my bag to sketch on the train, to sketch the other passengers, wow, this tablet is not stealthy at all. A tablet of this size works better on a surface or on a tablet stand. You can hold the tablet for drawing, but the size is going to make it a bit unwieldy for holding for long periods of time. The processor in this tablet is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. That is a mid to high-end processor from 2024, and this tablet has 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage with micro SD card expansion, so you can expect this tablet to have good longevity. At the time of making this video, Wacom did not specifically mention how many years of OS and security updates this tablet will receive. So the overall performance of this tablet is fast and smooth, and with the 120 Hz refresh rate, it makes this tablet feel really responsive. Let's talk about downsides or limitations. There is no camera in front or behind. There is an auto brightness sensor somewhere though, and it works quite well. Audio quality from the stereo speakers sound flat. There is absolutely no bass, but audio is still serviceable. This tablet does not have face unlock or fingerprint unlock, which is quite inconvenient. That is the cover for the micro SD card slot. And Wacom has provided a tool to help you push the card in or take the card out. For me, I just use the pen tip to push the card. There are some apps that I use that could not be installed on this tablet for some reason, such as Amazon, Shopee, Lazada, which are shopping apps. There is also this XE currency converter that also cannot be installed. I could not sign into the Facebook app, so that means for apps that require Facebook authentication, I can't use those apps as well. Wacom has advertised this instant pen display feature that can let you connect a tablet to your computer so that you can use drawing software from your computer, essentially turning the tablet into a pen display. Now, the installation process involves many steps. The downside for drawing with this setup is there is noticeable latency because the connection relies on Wi-Fi. So if your Wi-Fi connection is not good, then there will be even more latency. Pressure works well. There is also tilt, but there is no way to customize the buttons and no way to customize the pressure curve. So you will have to customize the pressure curve using the software, the drawing software that you use. Battery life is around 9 hours, could be more or less depending on the brightness and what you're doing with the tablet. So those are the main pros and cons you should know about the MovinkPad Pro 14. The pen performance is definitely at the level where you can use this to create professional art. So if you're thinking of buying a tablet for drawing, like a really good tablet for drawing, the Wacom MovinkPad Pro 14 is a tablet that I can recommend very easily. And the pricing of this tablet at $900 or here in Singapore, 1,300 Singapore dollars is extremely competitive compared to Apple and Samsung. Here on my table, I have the Apple M5 iPad Pro 13-inch, which is selling at $1,300, and the Apple Pencil Pro is another $100, so we are looking at a total of $1,400. The Wacom MovinkPad Pro 14 is $900. This is around $500 lower than the M5 iPad Pro. And this has 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. This also has 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. So you're getting an incredible deal here. Now, the Samsung Tab S11 Ultra is a really good Android tablet. And this was launched several months ago. So right now, you can actually get this tablet at a discounted price that is very similar to the Wacom tablet. But the Wacom tablet has some advantages over the Samsung. More specifically, the pen just feels nicer to draw, the pen accuracy is better, and this matte glass surface is something that I really appreciate because I just hate reflections. Wacom products are usually quite expensive, but this one is priced really well. So that's the bottom line. And I still have a lot more to say, so let's just move on to the full review. Let's take a look at the items included with the purchase. This is the packaging box. In the box, you will find a tablet, regulatory statement, warranty info, USB-C to USB-C charging cable, the Wacom Pro Pen 3, and this SIM tool. This is the official flip cover, which is just a cover. This material feels like cloth, so this is going to get dirty quite easily. And this will snap on to the side of the tablet magnetically and protect only the front. There is a pen holder, and you have to be careful with this because the pen can slide through. And you really do not want to drop your pen or lose your pen when the pen goes through. This flip cover doesn't even have auto wick and slip. So this is selling for US $59, and here in Singapore it's 79 Singapore dollars. This is quite overpriced for a very simple cover, which should have been included with the purchase of the tablet. Let's take a closer look at the design of this tablet. The power button is located here at the top right. So this is the lock screen, and if you hold down on this button here, this will open up Wacom Canvas, which is a drawing app with very limited tools. So in this video, I am not going to talk about this app, which I have covered in my review for the MovinkPad 11. Okay, so without the fingerprint scanner or the face unlock, you always have to type in your PIN, which is actually quite inconvenient. This is actually the default wallpaper provided by Wacom, and this is a bold move, and it does help the tablet stand out compared to other tablets. The corners are rounded off, including corners for the display. Bezels are quite thin and uniform on all sides. There is no camera in front or behind. There is an auto brightness sensor which works well, but it's difficult to see where the auto brightness sensor is, which can be a problem because when I hold the tablet, I will want to avoid having my hand cover the auto brightness sensor, but I cannot see where the sensor is. So most of the time, my hand will actually cover the sensor, and I have to, well, flip it upside down so that the sensor goes onto the other side. The tablet is quite thin at just 5.9mm. I wish the audio quality is better. This is the back where you can see the MovinkPad branding, the Wacom branding. This is matte textured, and this feels like plastic, but it's actually magnesium or magnesium alloy. Magnesium is said to be more solid and durable than aluminum, and the build quality seems solid enough to me. There is absolutely no flex at all. But for the Samsung Tab S11 Ultra, if I try to bend this slightly, I can feel the flex. They provide some grip on the table, but I wish they can be bigger. That's the USB-C charging port with USB 2 transfer speed. I was able to get the tablet to charge 70% with 2 hours of charging, so for a full charge, it will take around 3 hours. Let's talk about this 14-inch OLED display. The resolution is 2880 by 1800. The aspect ratio is 16 by 10. The pixel density is 242 ppi, so all the visuals look sharp. Pixelation is not noticeable even when looking closely. This display is laminated, so when drawing, there is almost no gap between the line and the pen tip. Refresh rate is 120 Hz, so you can expect very smooth animation when scrolling, when opening apps or minimizing apps. The refresh rate is variable, but it can only switch between 60 and 120 Hz. Color support is 100% sRGB, 100% DCI-P3, and the contrast ratio is 100,000 to 1. So you get extreme contrast ratio here, and the blacks really look black. The display has a matte glass surface and anti-glare works quite well. And you can see the brightness is actually high enough to go through the diffuse reflection. Let me just show you the brightness right now. This is not even at maximum brightness yet. There is one very important thing you have to know about the extra vibrant colors though. In settings under display, color mode, there are two color profile options. There is the standard mode, which will show you the vibrant colors. There is the color profile mode, which will show you less saturated colors. And for drawing purposes, I recommend using this color profile mode with less saturated colors. If you select standard mode with the extra vibrant colors and you are drawing, the colors from the color wheel or from whatever color tool you use will look extra vibrant. So you use those colors to color. When you share your art on social media or when you view your art from another computer on another display, the colors on social media or on another display will look slightly desaturated, slightly muted compared to the colors on the Wacom tablet. So here you can see the reddish roof is actually more reddish compared to the roof here. So when I export this art to social media, it's going to look quite different. I mean, it looks kind of similar here at a glance, but when you are in art, when you're in graphic design industry, you have to make sure the colors look precise. The colors have to look consistent across all displays. This color profile thing is important because you do not want a situation where after you have completed your art, after you have colored everything, only to find out that the colors look off. So start with the correct color workflow to prevent unwanted surprises. Even though the colors with the color profile mode are less vibrant, the colors still look fantastic. So you're not really missing out on anything. One thing many reviewers do not talk about is pulse wave modulation with OLED displays. Pulse wave modulation is this flickering effect that's used to control brightness on OLED displays, and people with sensitive eyes may be able to see the flicker and may be affected by that. So I have adjusted my camera settings to show you the flickering on these 3 OLED displays. These 2 tablets are using LCD, so there's no noticeable flicker. Now, I personally cannot see the flickering with my own eyes, but if you are not sure whether your eyes are sensitive to pulse wave modulation or flickering, please go to an electronics shop and take a look at OLED displays for extended period of time to see if you feel unwell or anything weird. Let's talk about the OS and software. So this tablet runs on Android 15 with official support for Google Play Store. This is pretty much stock Android, so there aren't many features. There are some features included by Wacom, such as the color profile mode where you can choose, but otherwise the other features are all pretty standard. If you need more features, you can always find an app from Google Play Store to get you that feature, or you can even install your own launcher to get even more features. This display is big and you can use this for split screen work. Let me just show you how. It's very simple. Just tap here. Oops, this app. Okay, tap here, sorry. Tap here to a split screen and tap here to open another app, so you can have your reference photo on one app by the side and you can draw here on the other side. Split screen works well. This is, I guess, the most basic multitasking feature there is. This tablet has 12 gigs of RAM, so there won't be any issues with holding many apps in memory. One feature that is missing but definitely should be included is the recent apps feature. So if I open Concepts, for example, and I minimize this, it doesn't appear on the bottom right corner where the recent apps usually will go to. The file manager included is Google Files, which is extremely basic. This does not have direct integration with Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. The file manager that I use is Solid Explorer, which has like more features. There are many capable drawing apps available from the Google Play Store, and with the purchase of this tablet, Wacom has included a 1-year license with Clip Studio Paint. Let's talk about the Instant Pen Display mode. So in Settings, search for Wacom Lab, enable Instant Pen Display mode. To use this pen display feature with your computer, the computer must be running either Windows 11, ARM Windows is not supported, and Windows 10 is not supported. If you're using Mac OS, it has to be Mac OS 14 or 15. The most recent version, Mac OS 26, is not supported at this time. Instant Pen Display mode allows you to use your tablet as a pen display to your computer so that you can use desktop software that are not available from the Google Play Store, such as the Adobe apps, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator. Now, there are many steps involved to getting Instant Pen Display mode to work. So let me try and go through some of the steps if I can remember the many steps. First thing you have to do is go to Wacom's website to download their driver and install their driver so that you can get Wacom Center, which, if I'm not wrong, is the name of the driver. And go to Software Offers. When you click this Software Offers, there should be a pop-up box asking you to sign in with your Wacom ID and password. Now, if I remember correctly, I was told that the software that's available here is tied to the Wacom ID, which is to say that in the future, if you want to sell the tablet to another buyer, the buyer will not have access to the software because the buyer does not have access to your ID, which is the ID that provides the software. Okay, so I'm just going to click here. I'm not sure why there are two identical options here, so I'm just going to click one. And you have to download this Wacom MovinkPad Instant Pen Display driver. I have already installed that driver, so let me just open that driver. There are a few more steps you have to do. So on the tablet, go to Settings, look for About Pad, and look for this. Tap on Build Number 7 times. And this will tell you you're in developer mode. Next, go to Settings again. Go to System, Developer Options, and scroll down to look for USB debugging. Enable that. Next, you have to connect the tablet to your computer using a USB-C cable. And let's see, allow here. Allow. And tap here to update. After all that is done, make sure your tablet and computer are on the same Wi-Fi network so that they can search for each other. And notice the connect button is gone. Sometimes it will happen and you may have to restart the tablet or restart the driver or restart your computer to troubleshoot. You may also need to enable Instant Pen Display mode here from the control panel. And this will give you this 6-digit that you have to type in to the computer, which I have already typed in. Okay, so now you see the connect button, it's there. So let's connect and see what happens. Oh, okay. Because I have previously connected the tablet, so I don't have to type in the password anymore. So, okay, because this is now working as an extended desktop mode, I have to go into Windows settings here under display to arrange the displays, apply. Okay, so now let me just minimize the window on the left side. Yeah, you can see my mouse is on the display. So now I can move this window here, there, and if you have a drawing app open, you can draw there. Now this app concepts is available on Android, iPad, and Windows, so it doesn't really make sense to use concepts from Windows when you can already use concepts from the Google Play Store. So let's use an app that is available on desktop but not available from Google Play Store, such as Affinity Photo. Notice there is no cable connected now. So this is Wi-Fi external display mode. Let me move Affinity Photo over. And because this is using Wi-Fi to transmit video data, how much latency there is will depend on how strong your Wi-Fi connection is, and right now from what I can see there is some latency, but it's not too bad. But for drawing purposes, this amount of latency is not ideal. Pressure sensitivity works with pen display mode, tilt sensitivity works, palm rejection works, finger gestures work. As for the side buttons, if you click on either one of the three, this bar will appear with alternate Control Shift, and from what I can see, there doesn't seem to be any way to configure the shortcuts for these three buttons, and there doesn't seem to be any way to configure or customize the pressure curve, because with Wacom Center, it did not detect the Wacom tablet. So the drawing performance with this tablet in instant pen display mode isn't ideal, and you're just going to get like way better drawing performance from drawing with the Android apps instead of using this mode, unless you really have to use certain desktop software from your computer. And this functionality that you see here is very similar to the functionality provided by other wireless display apps such as Easy Canvas, Super Display. So the main advantage with this instant pen display mode compared to those other apps is this app or this driver is included for free with the purchase of the tablet. Let's talk about pen performance. Now for drawing, I highly recommend you use a tablet stand because drawing with the tablet flat on the table isn't very ergonomic. This tablet stand I'm using is the Pablo PR100, where the angle can be adjusted very easily using this latch behind. The Wacom Pro Pen 3 supports 8000 levels of pressure sensitivity, tilt sensitivity, and has palm rejection. So let's test the initial activation force. This is how thick the line is. And now I'm going to draw a thin diagonal line slowly. I am able to draw thin lines quite easily. And the line is quite straight, so there is no noticeable diagonal line wobble or jitter. Now one thing I noticed with this pen is if I hold the pen vertically like this and draw with minimal pressure, the lines are noticeably thicker even though I'm not applying any pressure. So it's only when I hold the pen at the lower angle, my normal angle, that's where I can draw thinner lines more easily. I'm not sure why the pen behaves this way when you're holding it vertically and when holding at an angle. Lines are able to taper smoothly and sharply. Line transition from thin to thick. So we have thick, thin, thick, thin, and thick. This is good. Let's see if we can create consistent line width by maintaining consistent pressure. So this is also a diagonal line, and I don't see any noticeable diagonal line wobble. And I am able to maintain consistent pressure to get consistent line width. No issues with drawing dots, and I can press down harder to get bigger dots. The last test is the cursor misalignment test, where I will draw separate lines and join them together by looking at where the pen tip is instead of where the cursor is. So what I'm looking for is whether there are any gaps when joining the lines or if the lines will overshoot. Okay, looks fine to me. Right now I'm holding the pen vertically and I'm going to lower the pen to see if the cursor will stray away from the pen tip. So this is 45 degrees and this is much lower. And you can see the cursor is still directly beneath the pen tip. So this is with the pen vertical and this is with the pen much lower. I don't see any cursor misalignment or cursor drift, so this pen has excellent cursor tracking. Next, let's look at tilt sensitivity, and I'll be using Infinite Painter to test tilt sensitivity because this app is very picky about tilt brushes. If the pen has lousy tilt performance, the lines will look really bad with this app. The brush that I'm using here is dry inker. Now if you have a tablet with pen support, you can also go download Infinite Painter and test with this dry inker brush. So this is drawing with minimal pressure, with heavy pressure, minimal pressure, heavy pressure, and let's tilt the brush. So let's have the pen vertical, tilt, vertical, tilt. So this is actually pretty good. This app is Krita and I'm using the Pencil 5 tilted brush. I just want to let you guys see that the cursor can follow the direction of the pen. So I can have broad strokes here with the shading on the left side. If I hold the pen like this, I can have the shading on the right side. I can have thin, broad, broad, thin, thin horizontal, broad horizontal. And shading can also work with pressure. This pen is sensitive and accurate. Performance is consistent and predictable. And the handwriting and note-taking performance is also really good. One nice thing about this pen is the pen tip is extended. So when drawing, the pen tip will not block what you are drawing. So you will be able to see whatever you are drawing very easily. Shortcuts for the 3 side buttons may be customizable depending on the app you use. And this can actually be removed. Now if you find the pen too slim, you can actually buy one of the Wacom grips, which is quite expensive by the way, and install it and put this back so that you can have a bigger grip. The Wacom Pro Pen 3 is considered a slim pen and this feels alright to me. It's lightweight, the matte textured surface feels nice, and this is comfortable to hold. Now one thing you have to know about this pen is there is a tendency for the back here to twist open, at least when I'm holding the pen, because when I'm drawing, sometimes my hand would turn this thing and this would become loose. So usually I will have to tighten this very tight to prevent this from coming loose. The Wacom Pro Pen 3 uses Wacom EMR, so it doesn't require battery to work. It doesn't require Bluetooth pairing with the tablet to work. This pen cannot attach to the side of the tablet, so you have to find some way to store the pen if you have to bring this pen out with you. If you look under settings, under pen, it says here that you can enable the use of pens that are not included with this tablet. So I have enabled that to allow me to use other pens that use Wacom EMR. When I tested other Wacom EMR pens that I have, not all the pens work properly. This is the Samsung S Pen. So when I click on the tools, notice sometimes the click will not activate. This is some generic pen that I bought on AliExpress, and sometimes when I'm drawing, the lines will not come out, but now it seems to be working fine. The side button also works. This is the Wacom One pen with one side button. Wow, the line is really thin. I have to press down much harder to get a thick line. Tilt works, but it's not that consistent, so tilt works a bit randomly on this tablet with this pen. This is the Wacom One standard pen with 2 side buttons. The line is thicker. Tilt works, but it's not as consistent compared to the Wacom Pro Pen 3. I mean, you can take a look here. Sometimes the line is thinner, thicker, thin, thick, thin, so this is not consistent at all. This pen that I have here uses the Wacom elastomer nib, which is a rubberized tip, and this has very good resistance on the glass. So when drawing, the pen tip doesn't glide that easily, so there is good control. But this pen tip, unfortunately, is not compatible with the Pro Pen 3. The pen performance will vary depending on which pen you use, and the pen that performs most consistently, most predictably with this tablet is the Wacom Pro Pen 3. Alright, let's talk about the drawing experience with this tablet. I'm sketching here outdoors with my friends today at the Potter's Garden, located in Jurong West here in Singapore, and this is the panorama scene that I will be sketching. Sometimes I like to test the tablets outdoors because it is under such extreme conditions that you will really know how good the tablet is. So for example, I love the matte glass surface, which looks terrific indoors, but when you are using the tablet outdoors, if there is a very strong light source such as the sun or the cloudy sky, you can see the anti-glare does well, but you will still want to avoid having any reflections on the surface because it will affect the contrast quite noticeably. But when you're looking at the display straight on like this, it looks good. The 900 nits of maximum brightness and the extreme contrast ratio of the OLED display makes it so much easier to see what is on the display. Now I have used tablets with LCDs that can go up to 700 nits, and even at 700 nits it's not enough. So 900 nits with OLED, it's good. Like, you can still see what you are sketching. One of the challenging aspects of drawing on this tablet is just how smooth the matte glass surface is. So the pen tip will glide on the display quite easily, and this will take some time to get used to. And I must say that I have already gotten used to sketching on smooth surfaces because I've done that for many years. But if you want more texture, if you want more tactile experience, just swap out the pen nib with the textured nib that is provided, because the default pen nib is actually kind of smooth. So this is the line art that I have so far, and while sketching this, I did not have to zoom in and out that often, which is very helpful because when I'm drawing like this, I like to be able to check my composition, to check the perspective. If I zoom in to draw, sometimes I will lose sight of the overview of the whole perspective or composition. And sometimes as I continue to draw, when I'm zoomed in, I may draw bigger and bigger. And when I zoom out to check, some areas of the sketch will be too big and some too small. So being able to work on such a big display, you don't have to zoom in and out that often, which can actually help you save time because if you make less mistakes, you don't have to correct mistakes. So I have been working on this tablet for more than 1.5 hours now with the display at maximum brightness, and the battery life dropped 27%. So if you're using this tablet at maximum brightness, it looks like you may be able to get 6 hours of battery life under extreme circumstances. And I'm happy to say that there is no overheating. I did not notice the display dim. You can see my style is quite loose and sketchy. Now if you want to draw more precisely, you can certainly do so. You just, draw more slowly. So my palm is quite sweaty right now, and when I try to glide my palm on the display, it can still glide, so my palm will not stick on the display, which can be a problem on some displays. And also, if there are any fingerprint smudges, you can just wipe them off very easily. And this matte textured surface doesn't attract fingerprints or smudges that easily. Pressure sensitivity works well, tilt works well, so I can tilt the pen to get the broader strokes, so I can draw thin and thick lines easily to draw expressive lines. Today is actually a cloudy day, so I am not exactly testing this tablet under extreme conditions like under direct sunlight. But even when I'm using the tablet outdoors for sketching, I won't be sitting under direct sunlight. So this user experience that you see here, or this workflow that you see here, is my typical workflow when sketching outdoors. So this is the completed sketch, and I am actually quite pleased with it. Let me just hide the UI. Okay, 3-finger tab has been configured to show the color wheel, so let me try 4-finger. Okay, 4-finger shortcuts also work on this tablet. That's great, because it may not work on all Android tablets. And this is how my sketch looks when compared to the actual scene. So to conclude, my overall drawing experience with this tablet is very positive, and this is a tablet I can recommend very easily if you are looking for a tablet that is great for drawing. The performance is good, the display looks good, and the drawing experience is good, and the pricing is extremely reasonable, very competitive when compared to other tablets such as the Apple iPad Pro and the Samsung Galaxy tablets. Alright, I think it has started to drizzle, and this tablet does not have any water resistance, so I'm going to keep this tablet in my bag right now. Thanks for watching this review. I hope it's useful. See you guys in the next video. Bye!